Hello everyone and welcome back to Boards, Bricks and Battlefields and another Tide of Iron Saturday. So we are going to keep playing the Designer Series scenarios, and the next scenario we have set up here all the way. I mean, it should be set up like this, but again, I recorded like this just to be able to zoom in better on the battlefield. So this is Night Hunt by Frank Chadwick. So we have a very long here scenario note and designer's note. So let's take a look at Frank. I don't know this designer. I don't know many of these designers, to be honest. But I don't play many of those old school war games, so that's probably the reason. And here's the guy. So this scenario is you can see there's a lot going on. It has a lot of special rules. Now, I'm not a fan of these concealed units in the original game. I just don't find them that useful. Maybe sometimes they might be. But here, the concealed units are going to be a little bit stronger. And I think a little bit of these rules are going to be up to your interpretation. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's start by looking at our objective here. So if the Germans have 6 or more victory points at the end of round 8, they win. Otherwise, the Americans win. The Germans earn victory points at the end of round 8 as follows: 2 VP for each victory objective marker they control. And there are 3 of those, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. 1 VP for every M4A1 Sherman tank heavily damaged or destroyed, minus 1 VP for each Panzer IV heavily damaged or destroyed. There's 2 Panzer IVs which are going to come onto the board in round 2, and we have a total of 6 Shermans. So if they manage to destroy them or heavily damage all of them, they will have an automatic victory unless they lose their one of their Panzer IVs or has them to be heavily damaged. So we have no scenario background here. Of course, all of this is going to be a scenario background. But let's look at the setup. So the Americans have 2 divisions in Division 1, which is 2 squads, 8 regular infantry, 6 Shermans, and they start here on this side. And they can choose any area of 10A, 8B. And then we have Division 2, which is 7 squads. All of them are concealed. 12 regular infantry, 6 elite, 2 officers, 2 MGs, 2 mortars, and 2 medics. And they can start anywhere in 1A, 7A, 9A. So that's here, here, and here. So I decided to start with machine gun here, another machine gun here, regular squad here to capture those command points, medic squad over here, 2 mortars over here, 4 regular. Here we got 3 elite, 1 regular medic, and these are also 3 elite, 1 regular medic. Here with the machine gun squad, we got 1 officer, 1 regular, again 1 officer, 1 regular. And they all start concealed. We start with 2 strategy cards, and we have the supply 1 deck. So I can see that I've actually switched out the decks. So this one should go to the Americans, and we should start with 2 cards. So let's go ahead and draw those 2 cards before we forget it. So we start with supply priority and munitions resupply. And let's just have them here in the corner. And let's mark out these points that we already control from our spawn. And of course, the Germans control these 2 points as they start on those hexes. And let's go to the German setup. So for the German setup, Division 1 has 7 squads. That's going to be 20 regular infantry, 6 elite, 2 officers, 1 medic, and 6 bazookas. So over here we have an officer with 3 standard, and he's a medic. All of these other guys are bazooka squadrons, and I've spread the elites out, so each squad has 1 elite and 3 regular. This guy, though, he has 1 officer too. So 1 officer, 1 elite, and 2 regular. And then I think I did, yeah, all squads are 3 standard, 1 elite, and then of course the bazooka. And they also, all of them start concealed. And then we have Division 2, which is 8 squads, 14 regular, 6 elite, 2 officers, 4 machine guns, 1 mortar, 2 panzer force, and 1 medic. So with those I got, I always put the machine guns usually with, if I go to attack with those, I put just 2 regular. So I got those 4 squads, which is 1 machine gun, 2 regulars. And then I have a mortar squad, which has a mortar and 2 regular. I have 1 squad, which is just 4 regular. And these 2 medics consist of 3 elite, 1 officers, 3 elite, 1 officer, both of them. So the Germans start with 4 strategy cards, and they have the morale 1 deck, and they also get the operational card. Well, I forgot to mention that the Americans have the operations card Desperate Defenders, and the Germans have elite tank crews. We have seen those before, and Division 1 can start anywhere on this map, 11A, which is this one. And Division 2 does not start on the map, but enters as reinforcements during the status phase of round 1. So let's start by drawing those starting cards. So we start with the Germans with 4 cards. So we get preparations, take cover, and 2 take down the beast. That's going to be very useful for the Germans. They have the elite tank cruise operational card, which the armor value of any enemy vehicle is reduced by 1. And then we have Desperate Defenders, so that's your squads may attack at half their firepower, even if they are pinned or disrupted. So that's our operational cards. Now let's look at the special rules of this scenario. So first of all, we have all of the things planned out here. We have a lot of entrenchments up here, tank traps. Otherwise, I think you've seen all of it. So we're going to have a total of 8 rounds. Initiative starts with the Germans. We are going to have 3 actions per side. Reinforcements. The Germans receive all Division 2 units as reinforcements during the status phase of round 1. And then we have special rules, and there's quite a lot of special rules on this one. So this entire scenario is fought at night, and the following special rules apply. All vehicles moving is halved, rounding fractions up. So half movement value for all vehicles. The maximum length of any line of sight is 2 hexes. Mortars may still fire out to their maximum range, but only at targets that are within the 2 hex line of sight range of a friendly unit. Line of sight range is not increased by being on a hill. Combined fire is not allowed, so we're going to have to remember that. We're going to have to remember that it's 2 maximum fire range and no combined fire, and half movement value for vehicles. And then we're going to have to remember that any concealed squad that moves 2 hexes or less remains concealed, so long as it does not fire or move adjacent to an enemy squad. Tanks may not spot adjacent concealed squads at the end of the turn. Only other squads may do so. So here, this is a very interesting rule with the concealed markers. So these guys, even if they move out in open terrain, they're not going to be spotted. Even if they're adjacent to enemies, if the enemies are vehicles, they're not going to be spotted. There is only one way to spot concealed squads, and that is moving one of your squads adjacent to them. So that is the only way to spot them. So then we have all squads in American Division 2 and German Division 1 begin the game concealed. And German off-board indicators may be used to represent additional concealed squad markers, but I have 2 base games, so I had enough. No terrain features. So yeah, this is going to be a little bit interesting, but a lot of special rules to remember. Okay, so we're going to start playing here with the Germans, and the question here is, I think the really best tactic for this is probably just to be hyper aggressive. Now I am wondering whatever I can make it through here. I kind of want to move my guys to the side and then kind of get into the forest and fire. I'm just concerned about these infantry soldiers, that they're gonna move and spot me. So first of all, I have the Americans. I was going to put those machine guns into opportunity fire, but now I realize they're all concealed, so I can't even fire at them. So I think I'm gonna start by moving, simply moving 3 squads, 1, 2, 3, 4, into this area, and they will bring all of their many concealment markers with them. And that's gonna be my first 3 actions. Now, the question is if I want to attempt to spot them with the Americans. So I could move 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's gonna let me spot them next round. Okay, lesson learned. I maybe should have used fire and movement instead with them. Let's see. There's no way I can get the initiative if the American wants it, because the American is going to have, let's see, he's going to have 4, 5 command points, and the Germans are only going to have 4. So they're going to be leading with 1 command point. That's my first action anyway for the Americans, so I can take 2 more actions. And let's see what I want to do here. I think I want to start moving up some of these guys. Now that I have those command points, this guy's gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4. This one should be here. So let's see here. Yeah, and then we'll go back to the Germans. I will move with this medic. 1, 2, 3. And then the question is what I want to do with these guys. Well, I'm gonna move with this guy 1, 2, 3, 4. Should have started those guys I went there with. I should have went up to the forest instead. Is there any good position these guys can get? Not really, and I don't want to fire from the building, because if I fire from the building, I'm gonna take concussive fire back, as I have to remove these markers. I think I'll simply then move up into this building, so next turn I can move over to the forest. So that's it for my Germans. I have done actions with all of my units. With the Americans, I am going to move this one, bam, bam, so I can spot that medic who is moving up. And I think I'm going to be happy with that, so we'll end it there. So we go to the command phase. No one captures any new objectives. We receive command points. Let's see, I said 5, I think, for the Americans. Yes, 3, 4, 5. So 5 points. And the Germans receive 4. So the Americans are going to spend 4 of their command points on their initiative card. since the Germans have 4 points available, they know if they spend 4, they're not going to lose. By the way, the Germans, of course, should spend their first, actually. So I think I will, with the Germans, get the... I will buy... Take down the beast, both of those cards, and then I will buy take cover as well. So these are going to be very good cards for this game. Take down the beast, as you know. Oh, actually, take down the beast is... I'm not going to get those because they require you to use combined fire. So when combining fire against a heavy vehicle, but I can't do that because you can't combine fire on this map here. So I'll get take cover. That's going to help me in a way. That's going to, once per action turn, when one of your fresh units is attacked, you may place an activation token on this card to give the unit 2 additional cover for its attack. So that's going to help me. So I got 2 points left. I don't spend them on the initiative. The Americans spend 4 on their initiative. And then they are going to purchase supply priority for 1 command, which is when activating another strategy card, the cost is reduced by 1. So initiative goes here to the Americans now. We draw card. Americans draw request resupply and supply priority again. And then we go to the Germans, who draw take cover. So that's going to be useful. Okay. And then we start to remove some tokens. And then we are going to spot units. So the Germans spot this guy and I spot that guy. And the Germans spot... Oh yeah, he's not even concealed, but I managed to spot those 3 Germans. So I have the initiative now, so of course I'm going to attack those guys. We enter now round 2. So as I remember those reinforcements, the Germans receive all Division 2 units as reinforcements during the status phase of round 1. Okay, so we are going to give them the reinforcements now, and you can see here that the reinforcements is going to be able to come all the way from that side up to that building where we have the command point. So the question is where I want to put them. I want to be careful, of course, with these, since I know that those guys, I get minus points if they get killed, so I don't want to put them in front of my Shermans. But I have a lot of machine guns here, and they can do a little bit of damage if I'm lucky to the Shermans. I think I'll put at least 1 in the building here so I can engage. Or maybe I don't want to do that because those guys are going to spot them since these guys are not concealed. So let's see, the machine gunners have a 2 in anti-tank value. They have a good range though, but I think I better put my infantry there. They are going to be having an easier time to deal with the tanks. And then I have some machine guns. Yeah, I think I better put them here in the... I just feel like, you know, if I can kill these... Shermans, you know, I will have won. So I'll put them here, and then I put my mortar here. Okay, so let's start. We act with the Americans first. We get 3 actions, and remember we can't combine fire. So a lot of guys now coming in here. The bazooka squads are going to be my biggest problem, of course. So I will go ahead and fire with the first Sherman. So he has a fire value of 6. And I want to stand up here and you see that you can see, yeah, you should be able to see those rolls. So he has a firepower of 6. He will hit on 4, 5, or 6 since they're in close range. I score only 2 hits. So 2 of these guys die. 2 remain. And That's my first action. I use the infantry. They will fire 4 dice at, let's see here, he will fire at the same squad. And he hits 3 times, so they are now eliminated. And then I have one last action to do, which is the last Sherman. He's going to fire 6 dice at this Panzerstreck squad. And he scores 3 hits, so unfortunately it's not enough to bring him down. So now the Germans are going to retaliate. And of course they're going to start by using their bazooka troopers. So let's attack with this guy first. So he will get 7 dice. And he attacks this Sherman. He scores 4 hits. The Sherman is going to have 6 defenses. I should have used the take cover card. I forgot about that. He will use 6 defenses. So that is going to be 4 from armor and 2 from the woods. He scores only 1 defense, so that's 3 hits. So that means that the first Sherman is now heavily damaged. So that's 1 victory point for the Germans. And then I fire with this guy, and he's going to fire at, he'll fire at the damaged one because he doesn't have, who only has 4 dice. So he's not very likely to do any damage otherwise. He scores 2 hits. The Sherman's going to have 5 defenses. And he rolls 3 defenses, so even that heavily damaged one survives. So I got 1 more action, so I am going to I'll fire with the machine gun at the same tank. Again, I will fire with 4 dice, 2 from the machine gun and 2 from the standard infantry, and we hit 2 times. He will get 5 defensive dice, and he rolls 2 defenses, so he survives. Okay, it's the Americans' turn to do 3 actions, and I am going to fire with these Shermans. So first group of Shermans are going to fire at the machine gun squads with 6 dice. And he scores 3 hits. They have no defense, so they are killed. Next Sherman fires 6 dice at the next machine guns. Scores 3 hits, so they are killed. I think I gotta bring my Panzer Force over there. And then we have, see here, I am going to use this one, who will fire 4 dice at the machine gunners. And he scores 2 hits, so the machine gunner survives but loses his 2 crew members. So many dice. And that's it for the Americans. We go back to the Germans. So, let's see here. I want to fire on those. I think I'll just go for the tanks, man. These guys will fire 4 dice at the tanks in the woods. They score 1 hit, and they have 6 defenses. This is going to be hard for them. And they score 2 defenses. I reckon maybe I should try to kill the infantry instead. So I roll, and that's a standard. I attack tanks with that one. 1 hit, 6 defenses. Okay. And then this one is going to attack the infantry because he has 3 elites. So he's going to get 6 dice plus 1 for the officer for a total of 7. So he scores 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. He will have 4 defenses from being in an entrenchment in the woods. So he blocks 1, so they die. Okay, that was a bit smarter than attacking the tanks, but I got him in the end. And then it is my turn again. Now I am going to do something mean. I am going to move my tanks into these two hexes. So they are doing a fire and movement. So their movement value is half, which is 3. So I actually don't think they can do a fire and movement here, due to the fact that we have the special rules here where vehicles have half of their movement value. So I'll just do a movement into forest and that's it. And then I will see here. I'm going to fire with this one on the medic. So he's going to fire with 4 dice. I score 3 hits. The medic is going to have 1 defense since he's a medic. He doesn't block it, so he takes those 3 hits. And then it's back to the Germans. So first I'm going to use this German to move into this house, capture the points. And then I'm going to use this German to move 1, 2, capture this point, or attempt, I should say. And then I'm going to fire with this one 9 dice on the infantry that's hiding in that building. So his firepower is 6 plus 3 for concussive fire, a total of 9 dice. And he scores only 1 hit. I have 2 defenses, and I don't manage to defend, so 1 is lost. And then it is the Americans' turn, so we are going to fire with the mortar. So he's now revealed, and he is going to fire a normal standard attack against this squad with 4 dice. He scores 1 hit, he will have 2 defenses, and he scores a defense, so he's safe. Okay, that's not ideal. I got 2 more actions. I am going to fire with my machine gun at the same target. Again, we are going to fire 4 dice. He should, let's see here, I'm not sure that he actually has line of sight. I gotta put it, get the fuck away here. Well, I'm gonna say that that is gonna be legal. I'm not 100% sure it is, but I don't wanna, you know, we're playing a game, we're having fun. It's not a science thing here. It doesn't have to be measured with some atomic measurement system. We hit once, he gets 2 defenses, and he defends. So in the end, I just lost on doing that because now he's revealed. I have 1 more action. I'm going to move in with this one. 1, 2, 3. I am doing an assault. So I will attack with 4 dice. I score 2 free hits. He will attack with 1 die. He scores 1 hit. He will have 3 defensive rolls actually because he's a medic. So unfortunately for him though, he does not manage to score a single defense. So he is killed. I lose 1 soldier in that assault, and I don't enter that hex. I decide not to enter. I think that's legal to decide. I don't think you have to take ground if you do an assault. But again, I should be honest, I'm a little bit unsure. If I was playing against a player now, I would probably look that up in the rules. Okay, we go back to the Germans, and we're gonna fire with this Panzer against these guys. Again, 9 dice. We score 1, 2, 3 hits. They will have 2 defenses. And they score 1 defense, so they lose 2 soldiers. And then I am going to use the mortar. So the mortar is going to fire on, let's see here, he's going to fire on that same squad, or, yeah, he'll fire on that squad with 2 dice. He scores 2 hits, and they will have 2 defenses. And they don't manage to defend, so they are dead. That's a good job by that mortar. Okay, and we used all these guys. I'm going to keep moving these guys up. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not going to be spotted. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same here. They're not going to be spotted. And that's the last we're going to do. The Americans are not going to move these guys. They want to stay in the safety of these locations. So we move on. We go to the command phase. And now the Germans capture 1 American command point. So they're not going to get any command from it, but they're not. The Americans are not going to gain any command from having that. So the Americans will receive 4 command points, and they will not put anything on the initiative. They will buy the supply priority card, which costs 1 point. And this one already does. When activating another strategy card, your cost is reduced by 1. So it's going to be 0. And then we have request resupply. Look at the top 3 cards of one of your strategy card decks. Choose one of them to immediately place face up in your HQ area. Shuffle the other 2 cards back into the deck. So that is also going to be free for us, since we have both of those supply priority cards. So we look at the top 3 cards. We have vehicle parts. That's going to be useful. We have specialist supplies, and we have 2 of those. I think probably vehicle parts is going to be the most useful one, so I'll choose that one. So we shuffle these back into the deck, and let's see, that was request resupply. So we use that to discard it, and then we can use this immediately. So choose one of your vehicles, remove a lightly damaged token from it, or flip a heavily damaged token onto its light damage side. So this one now we flip to become lightly damaged instead, and now the Germans don't have any VP. So that's going to cost 3, but we only pay 1 for it, since we have 2 of those supply priority cards. And then we have munitions resupply costing 2, which becomes 0. Then replace any 2 of your regular infantry in a single squad with either 1 machine gun, 1 mortar, or 2 elite. So definitely going to get that one. The question is, do I want to have elites, or... Yeah, I think I want to have elites. So I am going to pull out this bag, and I am going to put some elites into this squad here. It's going to help me take out those bazooka squadrons. So that was a nice card, and now I still have 3 command points, and I'm gonna save those. So it goes back to the Germans. They have 2 command points. They are going to buy take cover, and that's going to cost them 2 command, and then they shall receive 4. Oh yeah, I forgot that they would receive command points. So I put 1 more on initiative. I should have done that before. So the Germans, of course, are not going to put any command on their initiative card, as they know even if they put all of that command, they're not gonna get enough to get the initiative. Okay, so then we draw cards. The Germans draw Desperation, and I draw Specialist Supplies. And that's going to be it. We go to round 3. Let's get rid of all of these markers. So I think the first, so far I should say, we're not even halfway through it. But I should say so far I think the Bridget Chamois scenario was more fun than this. But I will say that it's still a interesting scenario as it plays very differently than the standard game, and that the special rules don't make it too complicated, because that was kind of what I was afraid of, that it was gonna make it just too complicated. Okay, so we start first with the Americans. I am going to use my lightly damaged Sherman here to target this lonely squad member who's left. I'm going to fire with 6 dice on him. And I score 2 hits. He has no defense, so he dies. Next up, I'm going to use my next Sherman to fire 6 dice at the other bazooka squad member. And when I do that, he is going to use this. Once per action turn, when one of your fresh unit is attacked, you may place an activation token on this card to give the unit 2 additional cover. And he got 2 of those cards, so he can use that twice. So they are going to get 4 cover, even though they're in the open. So we attack with the Sherman, and we score 2 hits. They will have 4 in cover. They don't score a single cover. Wow. So those 2 hits are applied. And then we are going to attack again, and this time I am going to use my new elite troops, which will have 4 dice, and then 2 more for the specialist troops. We attack the same bazooka squad, and of course he's not going to get cover now, since that's a one-time thing, and I score 2 hits, so there he goes. Okay, and then we go back to the Germans, and I think this is going to be hard for them now. I thought actually the Germans might win this one, but they are getting pretty effed up, probably due to my very bad command decisions. So the question here now is, do I want to attack, or do I want to move into that entrenchment? So the thing with that entrenchment is, yes, that it's good, it's 2 more cover, but if I move there, I will open myself up to also being within close range of 3 more units. So I think it makes more sense to stay here. So I am going to attack with this one, and he is going to attack with 7 dice against this. Let's see here, that lightly damage should be here. So I will attack this Sherman with those 7 dice. And wow, look at that. I score 5 hits. The Sherman, of course, is going to have 6 cover, 4 for his armor, and 2 for his woods. And he scores only 1 protection, so that Sherman is blown out of the woods. That's a really good attack, and that's going to be 1 victory point. I'm going to stand up. You can see these rolls, can't you? Yeah, you should be able to see those rolls. Okay, next bazooka member. He's going to fire 7 dice at this Sherman. Let's hope we can roll as well. He rolls 3 hits. Again, we got 6 defenses. And we score 2 defenses, so he takes 1 of those hits and becomes lightly damaged. 1 more action. I am going to fire with this squad. He will fire 4 dice at that. Maybe I will use actually the machine gun first. He will fire 4 dice at this tank. He scores 2 hits, 3 hits, I should say, and he will have 5 defenses. And he scores 2 blocks, so he takes 1 hit and becomes heavily damaged. So that's another victory point for the Germans. And let's see here. And it goes back to the Americans. And I'm gonna have to put something under my lip on this Tide of Iron Saturday. Let's see here what we want to do. I don't find these guys too scary, to be honest. All of my guys are concealed. Only guys who are going to be able to get hit by them is going to be these guys. So I will take these guys and simply move them out of the way, just to not get killed unnecessarily. And then I am going to, see here, I am going to fire with this machine gun, and he's going to fire at these guys, just so the mortar then will not have, oh, these guys are going to have line of sight, but they're fatigued. Okay, so I'm going to fire at this guy with the machine gunner. He is firing, let's see here, 3, 4, 5 dice. And we score 1 hit. He has no defense, so he's dead. And then I am going to fire, let's see, I have this Sherman left and these 2 Shermans. So let's go ahead and start using those. I used the lightly damaged one first. He will fire 6 dice at these infantry with the bazooka squads. Or I score 4 hits. They have 2 defenses up there, and they are, I should have used that take cover, and they don't manage to roll any defenses, so unfortunately for them, they're wiped out. Okay, and then let's see, we have the Germans again. So with the Germans, I am going to move in, or I'll wait with that until they have fired. So I am going to move up with my Panzer Force. Maybe I'll wait with that. I want to attack with these guys first. So first these guys attack the Sherman with 4 dice. And they score 2 hits. The Sherman has 5 defenses. And it scores 1. So it becomes heavily damaged now. So that's another victory point for my guys, or for my Germans. And then I will attack with this squad, who is attacking with 4 dice on this Sherman. 2 hits. And 1 block, so Sherman becomes lightly damaged. And then finally, I have this squad, who is going to attack also 4 dice on the now lightly damaged Sherman. And he scores only 1 hit. Sherman gets 5 defensive dice, and he scores 2 defenses. Okay. And then it's back to the Americans. And they are going to start attacking here with the Shermans. So let's attack with this guy first. He's going to attack with 6 dice against the bazooka squad. And very quickly then the bazooka squad says, well, we're going to use take cover 2 times. So he's going to get a total of 6 defenses here. So we roll. And I score 2 hits, 3 hits actually, since Force also hits here. And he will have now total of 6 defense, 2 from the woods, and 4 from take cover times 2. And he scores 5 defenses, so he's safe. And I use the next Sherman, so he's going to fire 6 dice as well. And those guys. And I score 4 hits, and I just want to read this. For this attack, yeah. So it's only for this attack. I score 4 hits. They have 2 defenses. And lucky guy, he managed to defend. So 3 of them dies, but 1 remains alive. And that's it for my Shermans over there. I can't use any more Shermans. Let's see the mortar I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's probably not going to be super useful to use. Well, I could do a suppressive attack into this hex, and that's going to be They're all fatigued, so I'm not going to be able to spot with them. There's many rules that you need to keep in the back of your head if you don't want to play any errors. It's really much harder when you play alone too, because if you're playing with someone, you be damn well sure that if I say, oh, I'm gonna attack with this guy against these guys, your guy don't have line of sight. All of your friendly units that are spotting, they're fatigued. But if you're playing alone, that's very easy to forget. So let's see what I want to do here. I actually can't do anything as far as I can see, beside movement, that is. I think I'm gonna move then these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. Since those tanks are not gonna be able to spot me anyway. So he becomes fatigued, and then it goes back to the Germans. And the Germans are going to carefully move up. They have a movement point here, the Panzer force of 6, which turns into 3. So 1, 2, 3. And just carefully moving up there. And then we're going to move with this guy. He's going to move 1, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 into that entrenchment. And I'm not sure who had these concealment markers, but someone who fired and left for sure. Okay. And I think that's gonna be it. I don't think there is anyone here who can or want to act. So we're gonna leave it here. Maybe this guy. Let's do it just next turn. Okay, so we end now at turn 3. And we go to the command phase. Nothing is captured. So Americans gain 4 VP as before. And so does the Germans. Americans still have the initiative. The Germans now have 8 VP up here. So we are going to spend, see here, 4, so that we have 9 VP, or 9 command points, making sure they cannot gain the initiative. And then we have a specialization card. That's going to cost 2, but we have these cards. We don't have to bother with that. One of our guys can get a specialization token to become a flamethrower, a medic, a bazooka, and let's go with medic. I reckon all of these guys have tokens already. Or maybe actually that would be very nice now, because this guy just entered an entrenchment. So getting a bazooka squadron here with his already 2 elites, that's gonna pretty much make sure that we can get rid of those guys from that entrenchment. So that actually fits very nicely. And that's it. We don't buy anything else. The Germans, look at their cards. They have Desperation and Take Down the Beast, which is not going to be useful on this one. Preparation is not going to be helpful either. Nah, none of these cards are going to be helpful, so the German decides not to purchase anything else. Initiative stays with the Americans. We draw strategy cards. Americans draw supply drop, which they're not going to really need, and then request resupply. Germans draw rally cry and start removing all of these tokens. From the board. So we go to round 4. So if I can keep those Panzer force alive with the Germans, it should be pretty easy to win, because I can just move in to capture these points, and it's going to be really hard for for the Americans to really do anything about that. They don't really have a lot of anti-tank stuff. And the tanks here is going to takes too long time for them to move if any of them survive, since they have half of their movement value. So I think just keep these alive, snipe these guys from afar, and then you just take down as many Shermans as I can, and then capture at least one of these points, 2 if I can, and that's gonna, help me get that victory. They only need 6 VP, and they already have 3 VP. So we start with the Americans, and we got 3 actions. So I am going to use my flamethrower here to attack this guy, and he's going to say, well, then I'm going to use my take cover here for the last time to get 4 additional cover. Remember though that we have the flamethrower, so the flamethrower reduces the target's cover by 5 to a minimum of 0. So we have 2 elites for 4 dice, 2 standard for 2 more, and then we have the flamethrower for 2 more again. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that should be, yeah. So we go ahead and roll. And we score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. So his cover now is going to be 4 from the take cover cards, 2 from the entrenchment, and then another 2 from the woods. So we now reduce this by 5. So he will have 3 dice to roll for cover, and unfortunately for the Germans they only roll 1, so I do 5 hits, so that squad is burned out with that flamethrower here on Tide of Iron Saturday. I love Tide of Iron Saturdays, guys. Okay, so we are gonna move on. I got 2 more actions, and we are gonna need to take out that bazooka guy. So I fire with the first Sherman. I fire 6 dice, and I hit twice. He has 2 cover, and he does not manage to take cover. So that's the last puncher striker guy out of action. And then we're gonna fire with, I think I better fire with this heavily damaged one, because he's gonna take hits anyway. So I fire with 3 dice, and I should have said which squad I go for, but let's say I go for this squad. So I hit 3 times. Okay, so it's the Germans' turn to act, and again I feel like you're scoring 2 of those VPs are gonna let me have the victory. So I just want to have the tanks kind of nearby, ready to do that. So he's gonna move up here, or maybe I'll wait with the movement and do damage here first. So let's start with this squad. He's going to fire 4 dice, and he's going to fire at this one that's lightly damaged. And he scores 1 hit. He's going to have 5 defenses. And he scores 3 defenses. Then we go next guy. He's going to fire 4 dice at the same lightly damaged Sherman. He scores 2 hits. And he scores only 1 defense. So this one is now also heavily damaged. So the Germans go up to 4 VP. So again, I see this is going to be very hard for it. I don't see at all how the Americans are going to win this now. Well played, I gotta say, by the Germans. Must be a very intelligent and smart commander. We attack with this one, and he is attacking this Sherman with 4 dice. And I score 3 hits. That Sherman is going to have 6 defense dice though. And he scores 2 defenses, so he is now lightly damaged. So those Shermans are sure as hell taking a beating. We go back to the Americans, and see here, we got only 1 Sherman who is not heavily damaged, and he's fatigued, so I can't move him to try to engage those guys. But what I can do is I can use my mortar, and they are going to use 4 attack dice. And if I have a miracle here now, maybe I do something bad to those damn tanks. 1 hit, and they have 4 defenses each. So first one manages to defend. Second guy defends 3 times. Okay. That's my first action. Now I'm kind of getting desperate here. I just have to try to do something. I'm gonna move 1, 2, 3, 4, or I'll stay here. And this guy is gonna move 1, 2. So I can simply just block the route into those victory points. I'm not going into the victory points. Again, like here is a little bit hard to say what's right and what's wrong, but I mean the rules say that if you're in a victory point or a command point, you lose your concealment. So I would say that also should be true for this one. I know that we haven't played it like that I started in some of these command points and victory points to gain control. So I think perhaps when I did that, I should have chosen another place if I wanted to keep the concealment marker. But again, it's a little bit gray zone, I would say, in this specific map, just due to the special rules. So, but in general, I would say that I think that's the way that should be played. We go back to the Germans. So they have a problem here now with these guys because they can't spot. They can't spot and start shooting at the infantry. So there is only one place they can move in, and that's going to be the forest, but they don't have enough points to move there. Okay, so they're going to kill this guy and try to get to the Shermans then, so they can get those 6 VPs from the Shermans. Okay, so I need to roll 6 dice with this against the machine gun. I score 1 hit. They have 2 defenses, and they don't manage to defend, so that's 1 hit. Next, we have the mortar, who is going to score 2 or roll 2 dice, scores 1 hit, and he blocks with 2. Attack with the next Panzer, and he attacks with 6 dice, and he scores 3 hits. And they will roll 2 defense. They roll 2 defense, so they only take 1 hit, so he's still alive. And then it goes back to my Americans. So I am going to move this guy to block that side, so they can't get in that way. And this guy is going to move 1, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, so he can take the forest and block the tanks from moving in to kill the Shermans, at least for a while. And that's going to be, let's see here, I think that's 1 order, 2 orders. And then my 3rd order, I'm going to keep shooting at these guys. So let's go here with this heavily damaged one is going to fire 3 dice at that squad. I score 3 hits. He has 1 defense, being a medic. He doesn't manage to defend, so 3 of these guys are killed. That's 1 officer and 2 elite. And then it goes back to the Germans, and the Germans don't have... Okay, they have this 1 guy. He's going to fire 1 die at this lightly damaged... see, does he have... No, he doesn't have... he want to be adjacent. So let's go at this guy. He scores 1 hit, and they will have 6 defenses. If he makes him damage now, I'm going to lose my shit. He scores 2 defenses, so he's good. And that's the end for the Germans. We go to the Americans now. They get to act with all of their units. And this guy is going to fire 2 dice at Panzer IV. He scores no hits. And then, let's see here. Both of those are heavily damaged and have been used. So let's go with this guy first. He's rolling 3 dice, attacking the machine gun. He rolls 1 hit. They have no defenses. And then next guy is going to attack with 6 dice since he's only lightly damaged. And he scores enough hits to take that machine gun out. Okay, so that's the end of round 4, or the action phase of round 4. We receive command points. We're still at 4 command points per nation. And Americans don't really need it. And then the Germans get some command. So Americans are going to use request resupply, look at the top 3 cards, choose one of them and place in your HQ area, shuffle the other 2 cards back. Let's see here. There's only 2 left, and we have munitions resupply and specialist supplies. So specialist is not going to be, oh, I can actually use that for that guy to give him, so I'm going to go with that card. And then we have munitions resupply left. So I'm going to go with this card. That's going to cost me 0 points since I have, those 2 supply priority cards. So I am going to give this fella a bazooka. And then I will put all of my remaining command points to just keep the initiative so that German doesn't have a chance there to gain the initiative. And he has Rally Cry. So Rally Cry is placing your play area. As an action, you may place an activation token on this card to remove 1 pin or disrupt the token from your squad, from one of your squads. So that's going to cost 2, so that might be useful, but probably not. But we buy it anyway. And then we start. Should draw cards. They draw go to ground, which lets you draw another card. All or nothing. And Americans draw munitions resupply. So go to ground is interesting here because that can be used in the action phase. All or nothing can also be used in the action phase. So both of those cards are going to be useful. So we'll see about them. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. That should be it. Germans are running out of units though. Again, we start. So I know that the Germans drew that card, which is concealed markers. So they're probably going to want to conceal their units. So I'm going to move adjacent to them into the forest. And that's a fire and movement. So I have a total of, let's see here, it's going to be 4, 6, 8. So it's going to be 4 dice. And I will attack. I am going to attack this squad with 1 medic left. And I score 1 hit. He will have 1 defense, and he manages not to defend, so he's actually killed. And then I attack with my non-damaged Sherman. He's going to attack with, or do I want to get him into a better position? Let's attack with the lightly damaged one. 6 dice against this squad. And we score 1, 2. We score no hits because he's actually not adjacent. Crap. Okay, so I use this guy who is adjacent. He rolls also 6 dice. Come on now. and he scores 3 hits. They have 1 defense since they're a medic. They don't manage to defend, so they lose 3 of their soldiers. They go with the officer and 2 elite. And then it is the turn of the Germans. Should be in round 5 here. It is the turn of the Germans, and they are going to fire with the mortar on the machine gun, a normal attack. And then they miss, so they fire with the Panzer, and he scores 3 hits, and he will have 2 defenses, so it's not going to be enough to survive. And then we're going to move 1, 2, 3 into the forest with the Panzer IV. And we go back to the Americans, firing with this heavily damaged one, 3 dice on that normal squad. And he's dead. Firing with the next one on that normal squad with a medic. 1 hit. He has 1 defense being a medic, and he does not manage to defend, so he's dead. 1 last action, and I'm going to do a fire and movement with this bazooka squad. So they will have 6 dice, turns into 3. I score 1 hit, and that Panzer is now going to have 6 defenses. So he scores 2 defenses, so he's fine. Okay, it's really becoming a nail biter here. The Germans can't move any more troops, so I am going to start doing that. Let's see, I have my mortar. The mortar is going to fire at this guy with 4 dice, normal attack. And I score 2 hits. He has 4 defenses. Bastard rolls 2 blocks. So I'm still not confident that I can win this. We will see. I'm going to move up my machine gun here. See here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So machine gunner moves up. And then I'm going to attack with this squad, losing his concealment. So he's going to attack with 4 dice onto that Panzer IV. He scores 2 hits. He has 4 defenses. And he scores 2 defense blocks. Wow. Let's see here what I want to do. I want to move this guy or just a normal movement. So he's not going to attack. He's just going to stay there, blocking that German and being ready for the next turn. Yeah. Okay. So that's the end. We go to the command phase, and Americans receive 4, which they again just put on their card here, and they use the munitions resupply. So that is, replace 2 of your regular infantry with a machine gun or 2 elite. And that's going to be free for me to use. And I am going to use, let's see which one would be the best in this case. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I can take this one and give him, just in case the Germans have any ideas of starting to fire with suppressive fire. Those elites here would probably be good for some extra cover against suppressive attacks. And the German doesn't do anything here. There is no really good cards for them. They draw the last morale card, which is another go to ground. And the Americans only have the supply drop left. I mean, they can't use it. It's going to be a free one to use. And then they target the hex and determine drifting. And they roll. Let's do it over here. I don't want the German to capture it. So that's going to be a Drifting is going to be enhanced line of sight, so a 3 or higher. I roll a 1, and it's going to drift 5 times. It is going to drift into this direction, since we have the 1 going, let's see here, up here. So it's going to drift off the map, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that, I even have it here. I always put it to be ready when I play with the supply deck, because I know that this can be airdropped. But yeah, it goes off the map and onto my floor, and then my dog eats it, and I have to pay $500 in veterinarian fees. Okay, where were we? Yeah, we are still at the command phase. So the German don't spend any command. He should receive 4. And we move on to remove tokens. And it's not too many tokens left now, because there's simply not too many units left on the board. So Americans start. We are in turn 6 of 8 now. I need to take down these tanks. That's really my only goal here. I roll 6 dice with the squad here. I scored 3 hits. That's pretty good, but he will have 6 defense dice since he's in a forest. So, and he scores 3 defenses. So that doesn't do anything. That bazooka shot just bounces right off. I am going to engage with this infantry squad, rolling 4 dice. I score 3 hits. He has 4 defenses. And he scores only 1 defense. That's a shame, because he would have been heavily damaged if I would have scored a full hit there. Okay, let's see here. My last squad is going to remove his concealment marker and attack. And he is going to roll 4 dice as well. He scores 4 hits, it's over. This guy's going to have 3 defenses. He rolls no defense, so they manage to take out that Panzer IV. So the Germans lose 1 VP. And then we have the Germans, of course. And what can they do in this situation? They need to take out both of these tanks. So I have 3 movement points. I don't even have enough movement points to move into to get into a firing position. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I guess that's what I could do. 1, 2, 3. A fire and movement. Oh yeah, we couldn't do fire and movement on this one, because it's half your hexes or whatever. Or it's half your movement value. So half his movement value is 3. So a fire and movement would be what? 1.5? Or maybe 2. So I'll just stay here. I feel like there's nothing I can do. So I'll just stay there and fire at that bazooka squad with 9 dice. And see if some situation opens up. But I think this is pretty hopeless. He gets 4 hits. He will have 2 defense. And he scores 1 defense. So we take out that bazooka at least. And then we have the mortar, who is going to fire on this squad. Going to fire normal attack with 2 dice, and he scores 1 hit. So they lose 1 squad member, and then it's all done for the Germans. So now I get to act with all of my units. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will use the mortar to attack the tank with 4 dice. And I score 1 hit. He's going to have 6 defense. He scores 2 defense. I'm going to move up 1, 2, 3, 4 with the machine gun. And then I'm going to fire with the Sherman. He's going to fire with 4 dice, since he's heavily damaged. He scores 1 hit. Again, we have 6 defenses. And they score 3 defenses. Next heavily damaged Sherman, 4 dice, no hits. I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, do a fire and movement, and attack the Panzer with 2 dice. I score no hits. I am going to move. Or is that stupid? Maybe that's stupid. That will open him up for getting hit. So let's not move with these guys that are heavily damaged or lightly damaged and heavily damaged. I don't want to put them in a position where they can. Or maybe just moving up 1 because he would have to kill the other one too. So I just move. Nah, that's a mistake. I'll stay. I stay where he is and just be ready for an ambush. So these guys are now ready for an ambush if that Panzer comes near. And that's going to be the end. So we again receive a crap load of points. And the American puts all of his points here on the initiative card. And so does the German. Let's see here. He should put one of those here and give me a 1 back. And he doesn't buy any of these cards because there's none of these cards that's really going to help him. I mean, he could buy Desperation. So as an action, you place an activation token on this card, then choose one of your fatigued units and flip its activation token to the opportunity fire side. That's pretty much, well, preparations could be good with that, and then all or nothing. Okay, so let's do it like so. I'm going to buy these 2 cards. Okay, so we remove all tokens, not many tokens this time, and move on to turn 7 out of 8, so we're soon done. And it's the Americans starting again. I am going to fire first with this squad on that Panzer with 4 dice. And I score 2 hits. He will have 6 defenses. He scores 3 defenses. And then I'm going to fire with the machine gun, removing that concealment marker. And he's going to fire with, let's see, I think that's 4 dice also. Yeah, 2 for the machine gun and 2 for the soldiers. He scores 2 hits as well. And the Panzer rolls 2 defenses. Okay, I got 1 more action. So I'm going to move in a movement and fire, or maybe I'll stay with him there. He's going to trick me otherwise. I'll use this to fire 6 dice at that mortar and hopefully get rid of that mortar once and for all. We score only 1 hit, so they lose 1 soldier. So it is the time now for the Germans to act. They are going to use this mortar and they are going to fire at this squad with, let's see here, 2 dice, a normal attack. Or maybe I should fire at this. No, they have a medic. I'll fire at this squad 2 dice. 1 hit. And then we have the Panzer. He's firing at the machine gun with 6 dice. And he scores 2 hits, so they are dead. And then he will use an action, all or nothing. Remove 1 activation token from one of your units. So that's 2 points. And that's the 3rd action. So it goes back to the Americans now. And the Americans will keep trying to kill that tank. They are going to activate this Sherman to fire 4 dice. And they score 1 hit. And they defend. Next Sherman, again 4 dice. And they score 2 hits this time. Will he defend? Yes, he defends. Finally, we have the mortar who is going to roll. He scores 2 hits as well. And we roll. And he only defense against 1. So he is now lightly damaged. So I am going to move with him. So he has a movement value of 6, which turns into 3, which turns into 2. So he's going to move 1, 2, and become fatigued. And then I use my preparations. So remove an opportunity fire token from one of your units. Oh, sorry, I meant desperation. Play in your play area as an action. You may place an activation token on this card. Then choose one of your fatigued units and flip its activation token to the opportunity fire side. Okay, and then we go back to the Americans. And I am going to use this guy to fire at the mortars. He's going to fire with 7 dice, since that's 3 elite and 1 standard. Oh, I forgot that we have a 2 max range. He can't fire. He is instead going to move adjacent. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I definitely forgot that. That's one of the special rules of this scenario. You have a total max 2 firing range. Only exception is going to be mortars, who has a friendly unit with line of sight. Okay, so I end my turn. I don't have any more units I can use. So it goes to the Germans, and they will use preparations. Remove an opportunity fire token from one of your units. That's going to cost them 1 point. So this is not going to help them win, but at least they did something. He moves in here with his 2 movement points, but he can't do a fire movement because he has too few movement points to do that. So, well, he did his best. He didn't quite get all the way. He needs still to kill at least one of these, and then they need to take points. It's not going to happen. We go to the end command phase here. Let's play it out. Americans put it on their initiative, and so does the Germans. There's no reason to do it any other way. Let's remove the tokens. Yeah, this is one of those maps. I went to Command & Colors website, Tide of Iron, and actually checked the win-lose ratio, and I saw the Americans had won all of the reported games, and I thought that was a bit strange because it just felt like the firepower was overwhelming here for the Germans. But well, don't forget that these guys do have the elite tank crews, that the armor value of any enemy vehicle is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 0 when attacked by at least one of your tank units. But we haven't attacked any tank with that Panzer IV yet. So we start with the initiative, of course, and we're going to take out that. We're going to do our best to take him out. So we'll use the full Sherman here, who is going to have a firepower of 8. And really bad, the Shermans. And he scores only 2 hits. Might be enough, since that guy is lightly damaged. He will have 5 defenses. He scores 2 defenses. So then we roll for the next Sherman, who is also going to have 8 dice. The lightly damaged Sherman. And he scores 1, 2, 3 hits. Okay, so hopefully now we make him heavily damaged. He scores 2 defenses, so he becomes heavily damaged. That's -1 victory point for the Germans. And last action, we are going to take out that damn mortar squad. We're going to fire with 7 dice, since we have 3 elites, 1 normal, and we score 4 hits. So that mortar is dead. There's no way for the Germans to win now. As a last, middle finger from the Germans, they're going to fire with their Panzer IV at this guy, and they're going to fire with half of their firepower, since they're heavily damaged. 5 dice. And they score 3 hits. He's going to have 6 defenses. And he scores 3 defenses, so he gives the middle finger right back and says, well done, guy. And then we're going to fire with all of our tanks, of course. They are firing with 4 dice only on that one. First one hits 3 times. He has 5 defense. and he rolls only 2 defense, so it's it's 1 hit, and that is enough to blow that last Panzer IV away. We have annihilated the Germans. There is not a single German trooper left. So the Germans destroyed 1 Sherman, and they heavily damaged 3 for a total of 4 VP. But they lost 2 of their Panzer IVs, getting a -2, so the final VP value is just 2. So they needed 6 VP to win by the turn of 8. So unfortunately for the Germans, they have not won. I gotta say, on this one, I feel like I played it pretty good. I think with the US, maybe a little bit risky putting all of the Shermans together down here, but I thought that the best defense is the offense on a map like this. With the Germans, I was a little bit reckless. I should have fought a little bit closer, I think, on where I went with my bazookas and attacked, tried to seek cover. You don't have to be adjacent. Remember, with the bazookas, you can fire up to 3 hexes away, and on this map, of course, only 2 hexes away, since we have that limitation, since it's a night scenario. With the Panzers, I'm unsure if I should have started down here, because then they would have no cover while the Shermans have cover. So I think this is a really hard one, especially if the Americans decide to start here in 10A. This is map. Yeah, if they start down here, I think it's going to be really hard for the Germans. If I would have started up here instead, it would have been easier to counter them moving into the forest, having some cover, and just firing back and forth until I take them down, because the Shermans are going to go down with the Panzer IVs having a much higher attack value, and those overwhelming amount of bazooka squads. We had 6 bazooka squads moving in, or Panzerschreck squads. Well, all in all, I think this was a pretty decent scenario. The interesting part is that it plays a lot different than the scenarios in the core game. But yeah, it was not as fun, far from as fun as the Chambois, Bridge at Chambois map. So this is the second scenario that we play of Tide of Iron, Designer Series expansion. And that's my errata that I printed out. Let's take a look at the next map, which we are going to play, which is New Mission. Let's see here, New Mission. If I can find it, page 54. So here is New Mission by Jason Matthews. It's going to look like this. It's going to be the same type of map. That's pretty interesting, because this is going to be Division 1 only has 7 Shermans. Division 2 has 6 squads, while the Germans have no vehicles. They have 8 squads, 16 squads totally, with a lot of regular and only 1. Okay, they got 3 bazookas, but that's going to be tough for them. I haven't read the special rules or the victory conditions or what's going on this map, but it looks very interesting because, like I said, there's not a lot of units. And then looking at the map, we got 6 map panels, but here is one completely empty one, and this one is mostly empty. This one has a little bit stuff, and then a lot of stuff here, and then again, not very much stuff here. So this is going to be an interesting one. I see a victory point up here, and then we have... So I'm reckoning this is probably some kind of a defense and attack map where I would assume the Americans are attacking. Turns is also very different. The Americans have 2, Germans have 4. So guys, subscribe so you don't miss out on the next Designer Series playthrough. Please take your time to comment and like the video. That's why I'm doing this, guys, because I want to showcase this game to you, and I want to teach people how to play this amazing game. I want the Tide of Iron community to kind of wake up and rise up and start enjoying this great game again, making other people see that this is not a super complex game. It is easy to learn how to play it, and it's really, really fun. It offers so many player choices, meaningful player choices. So take a second of your time, like the video, comment, subscribe so you don't miss out on more content. If you want to help me out a little bit extra, you can become a supporting member of the channel, or you can do a one-time donation with PayPal or YouTube Super Thanks. Okay guys, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.